Uh-oh, 3 minutes into the pregame and we're finally on. Which way did he go? Which way did he go? EarlyMorningMob.com, like, comment, share, and download. I might have to do the show by myself, but the fellas are en route, supposedly anyway. So let's get it in. Golden Debate Show, EarlyMorningMob.com, and then we'll be jumping into the Golden Show where we shine the truth on these vampires and we hunt for the truth. On a non-big media level, son, we keep saying, let's go. With all that change we talk so heavily about, like, comment, share, and download the Golden Show. Quarters in the air. The Golden Debate Show. Yeah, the Golden Debate Show. Golden Show. So let's get ready to start off the Golden Debate Show the way that we usually do with my man 2 Minute News from YouTube as he breaks down the news in less than 2 minutes. Eyes on the prize, open minds, not empty ones.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of News in 2 Minutes, bringing you the news that you need to know every day. Let's begin. Fugitive U.S. intelligence contractor Edward Snowden has written to Germany telling them that he is counting on support from the international community to stop persecution of the truth for his revelations regarding the scale of America's global phone and internet surveillance programs. Germany, which initially denied Snowden political intervention during the days of his information exposure, has recently changed its position regarding a relationship with the ex-defense contractor, following the undeniable information regarding the NSA spying of political leaders, including Germany's Chancellor Angela Merkel. Officials with the Zatari Syrian refugee camp in the desert region of Jordan are warning that the Syrian civil war is driving more and more countrymen outside of the nation and into nearby countries where criminal activity and widespread assault threaten to worsen the refugees' conditions. Zaatari, one of the largest refugee camps in the world with over 100,000 residents, is a vast reminder to the community of how quickly conditions surrounding civil unrest can deteriorate, with many of the residents suffering from daily anxiety surrounding unclean conditions, dangerous encounters, and scarce security, leaving many of the women too afraid to leave their tents and visit the bathrooms after dark. According to a team of scientists at The Ohio State University, there is a 100% certainty that a supernova, which is an explosion of a star that has reached the end of its lifespan and can cause a burst of radiation that often briefly outshines the entire galaxy, will ignite within our galaxy in the next 50 years in an event that will be visible to targeting telescopes, if not the human eye. A leading member of the Taliban is reported to have been killed by another U.S. drone strike on Friday, causing the government of Pakistan to issue a statement through its foreign ministry saying it strongly condemned the U.S. drone strike that sent one missile into a home and another into a nearby vehicle. The Venezuelan government has taken over control of 2 American-owned oil rigs in the country after negotiations to pay the company dissolved. An acclaimed disease specialist and American medical physician is warning that the world may be facing the earliest stage of a nuclear holocaust as a result of the Fukushima nuclear disaster, furthering concerns that the community needs to take the time now to prepare. And to wrap things up, a study published in the journal Science shows that temperatures in the depths of the Pacific Ocean are rising faster than ever recorded. Violence is increasing between Palestinian militants and the Israeli military. The sun unleashed an Earth-facing M-class solar flare. Saudi Arabia distributed a number of deaths from the Middle Eastern respiratory.
Unauthorized disclosures have raised serious concerns that you alluded to, both here in Congress and across the nation, about our intelligence activity.
I'm just trying to wake you up, everybody.
We know the public wants to understand how its intelligence community uses its special tools and authorities, and to judge whether we can be trusted to use them appropriately.
By using tools.
We believe we have been lawful,
and that the rigorous oversight we've operated tools, as in the people that are working for them and themselves. Tools, tool-ass motherfuckers.
To the public. So I'll repeat.
Blackhawk choppers
we do not spy on anyone except for valid foreign intelligence purposes, and we only work within the law. Now, to be sure, on occasion we've made mistakes, some quite significant, but these are usually caused by human error or technical problems. And whenever we found mistakes, we've reported, addressed, and corrected them. There's no way to erase or make up for the damage that we know has already been done, and we anticipate even more as we continue our assessment and as more revelations are made.
I mean, to discuss
we only
that,
spy for valid foreign intelligence purposes as authorized by law, with multiple layers of oversight.
I spy.
We don't abuse our
agencies.
Why would that be important for policymakers to know what their intentions of foreign leaders might be?
I spy
for one, to determine if what they're saying gels with what's actually going on. It's invaluable to us to know where countries are coming from, what their policies are, how that would impact us across a whole range of issues.
Is this something new and different that the Intelligence Committee might try to target foreign leaders' intentions?
It's one of the first things I learned in Intel school in 1963. We were under the impression that it was ready to go. The president, to his credit, a basic tenet of what we are to collect 7 weeks out was saying, "Are we ready?" And to be told by the pros, "Yeah, this looks like it's all ready to go, all in line." And neither he and I are technology geeks, and we assumed that it was up and ready to run. But the good news is, although it's not, and we apologize for that, we're confident that by the end of November it will be, and there'll still be plenty of time for people to register and get online.
Yeah. Have you tried to get online yourself?
No, well, actually, the president tried to get online, and my daughter tried to get online. I did not, because it was clear that I wasn't getting online. So, but it really is.
So Joey gave up, everybody.
It's inexcusable. I mean, there's no excuse. You just have to fix it.
Hell, buddy.
So we
Joey,
pulled out
no
all
excuses,
the
man.
stops and
Lie down and get the
brought in
cooking.
the best people in the country, and we're sure
Black Hawk Choppers.
by the end of
Do you know why it was still taking another month?
Nah, it ain't.
Well, look, all I know is they talk about 50,000 lines of this and this. I don't know the technical reasons, but they say
All I hear
the
is
platform,
bad boy
the way
this
they
and
explain
bad
to
boy
me,
that.
the platform is fine, but they have to change an awful lot of the inputs. So
There's more to health and wellness than just counting
That's
steps.
why I became a
It's
lawyer.
what you
So
eat,
check
how
this
you
little
sleep, your
new
stress
technology
levels,
thing
and
coming out, and it actually sounds
But
pretty
life
hot,
is
but,
busy,
and I know a lot of
and
people
it's
didn't want
hard
to
to keep
jump
an
on
eye
it,
on
but
everything.
come on, man, that shit
That's
ain't
why I
broad. It's
use
gonna
Aero.
fucking track
It's a
everything
wristband
you
that keeps
drink,
track
when
of
you
my
smoke,
lifestyle to help
when
me
you
live better.
fuck. You
Take
ain't couldn't
food, for
get no job
example.
from that.
Aero keeps track of meals.
I know people gonna run out and get it.
It's pretty cool. There's no need to take pictures or add up calories. There's a built-in spectrometer right here that keeps track of how many calories I've eaten, as well as their nutritional quality. Aero keeps track of when I exercise, as well as how I exercise. It measures the intensity of my activity, as well as the number of calories that I burned. In the morning, Aero wakes me up at the best time possible.
It's a very bad clip, so I apologize for that, but there was also a video
It
clip
also
in which you
keeps
can't
track
see
of
is,
how many hours of deep sleep I
yeah,
get
when
each
she
day.
wakes up 9 o'clock.
And
Dude,
at
some
work,
people gotta wake up
Aero
early and
keeps
go to
track of their
work and then
stress
watch their
level in
stress
real
level
time,
at work.
and it'll give me a
You
heads
wanna
up
see
if
some
it's
stress
too
levels
high.
at work, Bear? Do you? Come on, man.
It even recommends specific
What this is setting up for is that when you go into the Obamacare or whatever and start
But
getting
my
medical,
favorite
you're
part
going to have to get
is
one
that
of these
Aero puts
bracelets
all
soon
this
enough. Watch
information into
this.
helpful reports, showing me where I'm doing well and where I can improve. Real-time information and daily updates make it easy for me to understand my health and maintain a healthy lifestyle. Aero gives me the insight to live better and get the most out of life. So what are you waiting for? Order yours at getaero.com.
Mr. Speaker,
No, and I ain't plugging them motherfuckers. You go there and hook
the
yourself up
most
if you want.
single important
Transhumanisms.
bill
Vampires, that ain't
facing
good.
the viability, the financial security, and the stability of the financial system within the United States and throughout the world. We're dealing here with a $712 trillion piece of the world economy. Now, my friends who are in opposition to this certainly have some legitimate points. No question about that. We had a meltdown. Banks and members on Wall Street did wrongdoing. Working with the regulators and putting in fact in motion not just civil penalties, not just financial penalties, but criminal action. But we do that in another place, at another time. We have already approached that with the CFTC to use criminal actions if any of this kind of shenanigans happen again. But we're here to make sure that our banking system, that our economy, that has to work on the world stage,
33 years in the CIA, perhaps the boldest change in how the agency achieved results came literally out of the blue. Armed drones in the skies over Afghanistan, Pakistan, Somalia, and Yemen became the go-to weapon to kill al-Qaeda terrorists. But the UN and others have said they've also caused hundreds of civilian fatalities.
Black Hawk choppers
This is
soaring to the night sky,
very
but this is
precise
only
weapon.
a drill.
Collateral damage is very low. It's not zero. I wish it was. But it is as close to zero as we have gotten with any weapon system in the history of this country. There is no doubt in my mind that without these operations, that there would have been another attack in the homeland that would have rivaled the scale.
Mike Morrell was deputy director of the CIA and gave us the only television interview he's ever done. He spoke to us largely because he believes the very nature of the spy business keeps successes in the shadows, but often pushes failure into the bright lights. Morrell operated in those shadows, but his insights have helped shape the key foreign policy decisions of the last 3 presidents. The first thing we asked Morrell about was the last thing he did at the CIA, taking part in the damage assessment on Edward Snowden, the NSA contractor who leaked classified documents about America's secret electronic surveillance programs.
I do not believe he is a whistleblower. I do not believe he is a hero. I think he has betrayed his country.
I believe I am
How
a robot,
serious a
however.
hit is that to national security?
I think this is the most serious leak, most serious compromise of classified information in the history of the U.S. intelligence community.
Because of the amount of it or the type?
The amount and the type.
But of the hundreds of pages of NSA documents that Snowden has leaked, Morrell pointed to one in particular that has caused a great deal of damage to U.S. intelligence. It's a copy of the top-secret document the CIA calls its black budget.
What value would that have to an adversary?
The real damage of leaking that document was that certainly they could focus their counterintelligence on those places where we're being successful and not have to worry as much about those places where we're not being
Photos
successful.
released said to show the moment of arrest. The Egyptian authorities have detained senior Muslim Brotherhood leader Issam El-Arian as the crackdown against the Islamist movement continues. Arian is said to have been taken from a Cairo residence where he'd been in hiding. The Muslim Brotherhood group was banned and many of its leaders detained after the army deposed Islamist President Mohamed Morsi last July. At least 1,000 people have died in the violence that followed. Before his detention, Arian had described the deposing of Morsi as a divergence from the true democratic path and called for dialogue. Morsi supporters have called on Egyptians to hold mass protests on November the 4th, the day their leader goes on trial for inciting murder, raising the prospect of more bloodshed as the country's political crisis goes on.
Around 1,000 supporters of the far-right Golden Dawn Party took to the streets of Athens on Sunday. The group chanted "Greece belongs to the Greeks" and slogans against the Prime Minister. They're demanding the release of 6 MPs, including their leader, who faced charges of being part of a criminal organisation. Last week, the government cut off state funding of the group and lifted their immunity pending trial. Earlier on, an anti-fascist demonstration took place which aimed to march on the headquarters of the party dubbed a neo-Nazi criminal gang by the government. Police trucks were positioned to keep the two groups apart, and the day passed without incident. It was the murder of an anti-fascist rapper last month, allegedly by a member of Golden Dawn, which triggered public outrage, putting pressure on the government to take a stand.
I was invited to pet a shark. I just got here from Washington. I've had my fill of sharks.
While Napolitano may have left Washington behind, her legacy as Homeland Security Chief follows.
Is that everything? Is this the only song that we can come up
chanted
with
outside Napolitano's visit today to Oakland Tech, saying she's not the right fit for UC.
Janet Napolitano, under the administration of Obama, was responsible for escalating federal immigration enforcement and deported a record number, more than 2 million immigrants from this country.
Napolitano also announced an additional $10 million in support for graduate students and postdoctoral researchers. And Julie and Frank, I'm told that this money will not come from tuition or state revenues, but rather reserves. Reporting live tonight here in San Francisco, I'm Heather Holmes, KTVU Channel 2 News.
We keep hearing, that there are difficulties that you can register, but me and my daughter
So this is from healthgov.net because everybody got to sign up and get their voucher, right?
Have patience with the
So listen
system.
to this propaganda.
Take your
try to tell me
time.
if it's real or not.
Read the whole screen that
Not
you're
empty
on,
ones,
and
but
make
check
sure
those out.
that you are following everything you can possibly follow. But just don't give up, because as time goes along, things are definitely going to get better. I mean, this was a heck of an endeavor.
the morning of October 1st, the first thing I did actually when I got up was to go check out healthcare.gov, which directed me to DC Health Link.
You lying ass
within
motherfucker.
15 to 20 minutes, I had
Vampire
looked
ass
through all the
motherfucker.
plans, decided what plan I want that sort of was like what I had with my employer. I got all signed up.
What I would say to people when they have a problem with the website, I said, don't worry,
They should have got some stars or
it's
something,
really
man.
easy.
Could've made it a
Any
little more jazzy,
technology
but
will
that's
take
cool
a time.
Down at the bottom of the page, there was a clear my cash, clear my cookies, whatever those were. Gave me the instructions on how to do it, and once I did that, I went back onto the computer, and it sailed right straight through, no
I
problems
cleaned
at
out all my
You can call
fucking
the phone
passwords.
number.
You know what I mean?
They can send
Still
you something
cooking
in the
on it,
mail to fill out, but don't give up because
my poor passwords that I got on it.
everyone really should look. If you don't have health
Hashtag
insurance,
gov.gov.net
or you have private health insurance now that's not through your employer, look to see if you can save money over
No sense why a website that's portal wants fucking billions of dollars anyway.
So you're saving over $250.
I don't. I actually don't even think. I don't. I actually don't even think. I don't.
George
I actually
Clooney
don't even think.
is a spy.
I don't.
There's a sentence
I actually
that
don't
needs
even
a
think.
qualification. What he does is he pays for a
I actually don't
satellite
even think.
that spies on Sudan. Its government has been accused of serious crime. George Clooney
Keep an eye
is
on
a spy.
A stranger taking a shortcut through the backyard next door might have located a neighbor's home. Report it.
A strange car parked illegally might be loaded with stolen goods waiting to make a getaway.
Report it. If you see fucking somebody make a website for billions of dollars, report that shit. If you see somebody drunk with somebody, report that
Frighten
shit.
him away by turning on the light. Report him.
Remember, by
GoldendebateShow
helping us
online.com.
apprehend a criminal, you make sure that you're not his next victim. I guess you can sum it up in 2 words.
For a satellite
What's
that
that?
spies on
Get
Sudan.
involved.
Its government has been accused of serious crimes against the people of
Today I
South
wanted to
Sudan,
go
which
through
became an independent
what I
state a
saw
couple of
this
years ago.
little
And Mr.
diagram
Clooney,
of Comet Ice on a similarity that was between Ed Dame's hand-drawn sketch of the kill shot that did it in a remote viewing session. And if you believe in the electric universe, there's no way you can discount that comets do electrically affect the sun and plasma discharge. And you'll always notice where the comet goes, the CME follows. The kill shot Ed Dames refers to is a really incredibly large coronal mass ejection that takes down the electrical grid on the planet, or at least parts of it on our Earth. So you might ask yourself, would there be an advanced warning? And the answer is yes, but we need to look back in history to ancient cosmology when we do have stories of dragons in the sky. The dragons are nothing more than plasma discharges from planet to planet, or either comet to planet, or something from the sun to the planet to the comet, like we're about to witness and we've seen happen with Mars in the first week of October and the last couple of days of September. Taking a look at the orbital diagram of Ison as it passed directly over the North Pole of Mars, around 7 million miles above the North Pole. As you can see what Mars looked like before the electrical event, as you can clearly see as the Birkeland currents activated from the sun out 146 million miles
another
to the
shooting
North Pole of
hoax,
Mars,
this time down in
conjunction
LA
with the electric comet.
and LAX. You know, all of us that are in the know, that are awake, that are aware what's taking place with all these shooting hoaxes, every time we hear about a shooting, we're always looking for where they expose themselves. And this time, thanks to Police Chief Patrick Gannon, he does a really good job of that, of exposing this for what it is. And listen to what he says here, where he says we practiced the same exact scenario that took place today, or that played out today. You know, and look at the expression on the face of the man over his right shoulder. In disbelief, he puts his hand on his face. And look at the bald man over his left shoulder, how he puts his head down. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you just said that. You know, just like I said, all these hoaxes, they find a way to expose themselves one way or another. It's unbelievable. It's almost like they're doing it on purpose.
They went after this individual and they confronted this individual in our airport. And unfortunately, it involved an officer-involved shooting. But that's what needed to be done in that particular situation, and that was heroic. We practiced to this.
This is Dabu7, and this is an update to the video that I put out on the back.
They practiced it a couple weeks ago, everybody.
A few other details that I thought were interesting here. For those of you that didn't catch it, the video uploaded on the backup channel is explosive. It shows two different pieces of video feed. One being where this guy, you see in this little box, states that this whole thing is pinning this whole thing on a conspiracy theorist that had stuff about killing the NWO in his backpack.
I'm trying to wake you up.
And the second half here shows this guy slip up and say that they have been practicing this for weeks. He says this for weeks. And that is what had played out there today. And then he stops and says, what we played out today. And when he slips up and he says, what we played out today, it's obvious it's a setup. This guy puts his hand on his face like, oh my God. It's such a setup. It's exposed 100%. And one other thing I wanted to point out here is the names of these characters. The neighbor that the FBI talked to, his last name's Pagan, Josh Pagan. And when you look at the main suspect, look at his name. If they don't put it right in front of your face, CIA and CIA. Right there. I'll leave links as always.
There is a larger story, which Jason began to touch on there, and that is the Obama administration's thin-skinned, we could call it, or he mentioned the record prosecution of leaks. There's a consistency in the Obama administration of going after people who embarrass the administration, but not those that take shots or cover for the administration.
And Will really does have a point, because I felt it firsthand when I was, reporting on the presidential race. I mean, President Obama's people can be quite nasty. They don't like you to say anything bad about their boss, and they're not afraid to use what other means they have at hand to stop you from doing that, including threatening your job.
Look, once when I was a kid, I did something really bad, and my dad took me to my grandmother's house, and he told her what I did, and she pulled me aside, and she said, it's not bad that you did it, it's bad that you got caught. And I think that's what we have going on here, that it's really bad that we got caught, and my damage
Wait, Grandma told you that?
Oh, absolutely. She's a total moral relativist, love her, God rest her soul. It's going to damage some relationships. But if we weren't doing intel spying on people like this, Angela Merkel, Kim Jong-un, anybody, then we would be derelict in our duty. Of course we should be spying on these folks. We have to have the information. That's why we have a CIA. We have to know. Look, Germany in particular is shoring the euro. We have to know that what they're telling us publicly is what they actually believe privately, so we can have confidence in what's going on in the eurozone.
The business of intelligent snooping and snooping on each other.
Open lines on empty ones. Golden Debate Show. We'll be doing the music show, which is the Golden Show in a little bit.
So I think what is shocking to the French and the Europeans is not the spying by itself. It's the extent and the systematic character of the spying which they did not suspect.
But perhaps unless the senior correspondent in spying, you know how the world works. But as a private individual, do you care in any way, shape, or form that perhaps your SMSs sent to your family or to your businesses?
To pave the way for military and intelligence operations, including the use of drones, the CIA has reportedly supplied between $50 and $100 million over the past decade in direct cash payoffs to President Karzai.
Foreign aid is one thing, but cash and suitcases and backpacks to President key aids has a different feel to it.
It's all foreign assistance to the government of Afghanistan.
Is there a quid pro quo here about you take care of me and I'll allow unfettered drone operations in the country, even though they're unpopular?
I think that those things that President Karzai allows the United States of America to do in Afghanistan are in the interests of Afghanistan.
I do it to stay sharp. I take care of my body, but it's harder to work out my brain. GoldenShow.com is based on neuroscience, and it just seems like games, but it's serious dangerous.
But this is only a drill.
No matter why you want a better brain, Lumosity.com can help. It's like a personal trainer for your brain, improving your performance with the science of neuroplasticity, but in a way that just feels like games. Start training at Lumosity.com right now and discover what your brain can do.
We've carried out more robotic drone strikes into Pakistan than we did manned bomber strikes during the Kosovo War just a decade ago. So by the measures of the Kosovo War, we're at war. But unlike the Kosovo War, we didn't have a debate about it in our Congress or parliaments or in the UN. The media doesn't report it every night breathlessly like they did the Kosovo War. We just do it because we view it as
In Friday's
costless
press briefing,
to
White
us.
House Press Secretary Jay Carney was questioned about NSA spying of the German chancellor.
Thanks, Jay. I want to follow up on your comment in yesterday's briefing about
but this is
how the United States
only a
is
drill.
not and will not monitor German Chancellor Merkel's communications. Lawmakers in Berlin have objected to that answer because you didn't say whether her communications were monitored in the past. So I want to ask you, has the United States monitored the Chancellor's phone calls in the past?
Nedra, we are not going to comment publicly on every specified alleged intelligence activity. And as a matter of policy, we have made clear that the United States gathers foreign intelligence of the type gathered by all nations.
I'm just trying to wake
As I mentioned yesterday, the President spoke with Chancellor Merkel, reassured her that the United States is not and will not monitor
a wake-up call. That's what some people are calling a new FDA analysis that found about 12% of spices brought to the U.S. are contaminated with insects, rodent hairs, and other unsavory items. Researchers also found nearly 7% of spice imports examined were contaminated with salmonella. The FDA says most of the insects and insect parts found in the spices are typical of those that would be living in warehouses. Spice imports from Mexico and India were found to have the highest rate of contamination. The city wants the company to bring in a new filtration system, but the company says it doesn't want to spend $600,000 on a new system and then be told it's not good enough. The city wants the company to bring in a new filtration system, but the company says it doesn't want to spend $600,000 on a new system and then be told it's not good enough.
Airlines are shrinking their seats. According to the Wall Street Journal, first they slimlined them. Now big carriers like American, Air Canada, and Air France are adding an extra seat to each row and coach. There will now be 10 seats across, shrinking the seat width just 17 inches. Take a look at how that compares to the 21-inch first-class seat.
I have computer science degrees from East Carolina University and master's degrees from MIT. And as well as a history with O'Reilly, I've authored or co-authored 10 books and was an editor for a short period of time. So when I started thinking about an interesting business to create, this was programming and writing, and that's what led me to Automated Insights.
Hey everybody!
We take data, generate interesting content and stories from data. So purely from data, we can generate narrative content in either long or short form, visualizations, interactive content applications, and mobile and social content.
You know, be the best team that we could possibly be.
Human readable content.
Did we know we'd end up here? That was our goal. We worked hard every single day. Hey, we're world champs. Can't believe it.
I don't like to get a
Shane, you won a World Series. But we all know what happened here in April at the Marathon.
Thanks, Golden Debate and Golden Universe. Check out the Golden Show, the Golden Show, everything else from OneMind.com. We up out of here.
Boss is strong. Thank you very much. That's all I can say.
But this is only a drill.
To keep you informed of all developments.
The ghost and the darkness have come.
It's golden.
He's here.
The Golden Show.
The Golden Show. All
It's
thoughts
golden.
and opinions are solely that of the host, guests, and sources, and is only to keep free thought alive. Golden Show. EarlyMorningMob.com.
I'm just trying to wake you up. I'm trying to wake you up. There's other guys, what they look like, I don't know. This don't make no sense to everybody.
Blackhawk choppers are soaring in the night sky, but this is only a drill.
Comment, share, download, and get the word of the show out. So we can help big media and all these fake motherfuckers that are sharing propaganda and lies to you. Keep it golden, everybody.
This clearly indicates, in 10 years, clearly indicates that something must be doing right. Somebody must be doing something exactly right. But who would be complaining? Somebody whose privacy was violated. You can't have your privacy violated if you don't know your privacy is violated, right? Can you?
I disagree with that. I mean, I think if the tree falls in the forest, it makes a noise whether you're there to see it or not.
Well, that's a new interesting standard in the law. Like, we're going to have this conversation. But we're going to have wine because that's going to get a lot more in
I want this
received today, but important comments all.
cocaine.